Station. Hi, Gavin. Good. I don't hear you for some reason.
Can you,
Yes.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great.
You're good. Good, good, good. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So I gave you a little intro and said, that Gavin is the co-founder and CEO of the Everset, and that we're super excited to have you here. Before we kick off, there are a few admin bits that I'm going to cover off on, so bear with me 1 minute.
Sure.
Coming this week, we have Rachel Bird from Expedia, Mark Harmon of Auberge Resorts Collection, and Ben Rao of KHP Capital Partners, who will join us later this week. We also, as a member, I support ILC obviously full-heartedly. We have Instagram and LinkedIn giveaways, so check that out. And lastly, please consider donating to ILC. You can do so on our website, which is ilcongress.com. Okay, so that's that part. Now we can go into Gavin. So Gavin and I have had a chance to talk, obviously, probably over the past year or so as you were working on some things and had started in one place with the Everset, which you'll give us a background on, and then have pivoted a little bit in the past few months. So let's talk about first how you started the Everset and what is the Everset for those of
Sure. Yeah, so my background is in real estate and multifamily. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
But multifamily in New York. And I left the firm I was at and I started building single family homes in Utah. And one of the things that we would do is sell them fully furnished. And that kind of sparked some of the idea of renting furniture. And so the Everset is a furniture subscription business. We offer designer curated furniture. You can rent it anywhere from 3 to 24 months. You can come to our website, theeverset.com. Place an order on the website, and then we will deliver, assemble, and pick up the furniture. That's all free and included. And at the end of the subscription, you can either renew your furniture subscription, return the furniture, swap it as your life changes and your needs change, or you can buy the furniture.
So smart. It sounds like
yeah.
I think in a world of convenience, obviously it sounds like an amazing solve. And then take us to, and who was the target and who is the target, right? Who is really attracted to this? I mean, I would imagine anybody, but who do you really speak to in the rental market?
Sure. So, our target demo, let's say, is 20 to 45 urban professionals. However, we like to think of it more in terms of people in transition. And so it's, you're moving we service the New York area. So you're moving to New York for school, for a new job. You're just had a new baby and you're moving into a new apartment and need more space, moving in with a significant other. All these kind of milestones in life are usually opportunities and transitions in life. And oftentimes, these milestones should be really kind of celebrated. And oftentimes when you ask someone, what are you doing this weekend? And they say, I'm moving, you're never like, oh, that'll be fun.
Right.
And so, we started the Everset to help solve some of that problem.
And so talk about pivoting, because you and I had a discussion a couple of weeks ago about, I asked you, I was like, well, it seems like a good fit for college or graduate school students. Obviously, the world has changed significantly. So
Yeah.
where are you pushing into a little bit more? There was a great, just to give you a shout out, there was a great article in Wired in which we were quoted talking about this shift and how you were able to successfully pivot.
Yeah. So one of the things we saw when the shutdown in New York happened was, there was probably about a month of everyone who just kind of froze. And then as things started to people got their bearings, a lot of people obviously have left New York.
Right.
So we pivoted and started expanding our delivery area, servicing people in New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, because there was a real need for people who were moving out of New York. They needed furniture for either a temporary home or because they're furnishing their home for the next year until they figure out what's going on.
Right.
And so that was one of the changes we made. The other thing is, one of the things that we do is we partner with the real estate community to offer furniture as a service or an amenity. So for example, when you walk into Stuytown, you'll see our model unit and they'll say, hey, would you like to have your apartment furnished by the Everset? And what we're seeing with our real estate partners, and we partner with a lot of different property owners in New York, is there's obviously a lot more vacancy right now.
Right.
In certain areas, in August, rents are down in certain areas, 10% vacancies are from August are 10%. So there's a lot of change happening in the real estate industry. And property owners are looking for ways to differentiate themselves and attract new tenants, but they also are responding to the needs of tenants right now, which is, hey, there's so much uncertainty in the world. I don't know where I'm going to want to live in 3 months, 6 months, a year, and buying $10,000 worth of furniture, 5,000, whatever the number might be, doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. So we help and we work with our property owners to solve that problem. And then the other big piece is we're even seeing property owners now who are now offering shorter leases. Property owners who a year ago would have never considered offering a 3 or a 6 month lease are
Wow.
now offering short-term leases, which is a big change. And we'll see if that continues into kind of the post COVID world, or if that's going to be something that sticks around.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think a lot of things will stick, and I think it is for the best. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about that. One of the things you brought up that I thought was interesting too, and it's just, again, another point of differentiation is that this ultimate convenience is staging, right? So it's this idea that you work with these properties, which is something interesting for the audience here, that you work with properties and you help stage. And I think that's really interesting because that further highlights what that a lot of people can't envision what a unit can look like, and then also convenience. So I can just go in and say, okay, I want exactly that look, and you make it super easy because you deliver it, you assemble it. I can have it for a shorter period of time or longer, depending on kind of my interest. But I think, can you see staging and how you kind of landed on that?
Yeah, we always had that as one of the things we had planned on doing, but it really became obvious to us that we should lean into that. And for the exact reason you said, is particularly in ground up development, when you have a vacant building and people are coming in and out, it really lets them see, this is what my home could be like. And it makes it super easy. So we'll work with the property owner, sometimes pretty early on in the process, but sometimes we'll just stage a one-off unit here or there. It helps them move the units and push apartments faster. Staged apartments just rent faster and at higher prices. And then also, like you said, it allows tenants to see the furniture, touch the furniture, and really envision what their home could look like. And it makes it a really easy process. And then with our partner properties, you get discounts. If you live in one of their buildings, you get discounts with the Everset. So almost all of our partner properties offer discounts, and some of them now are even willing to, they'll furnish your whole apartment for the first year. So if you want a studio apartment fully furnished, there are property owners that are working with us to do that.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, think about how much New York has changed. I mean, I feel like there's this long list to get into apartments, or just to get them was so hard, they wouldn't give you anything, right? So here. Can you tell us, obviously people can visit your website, but can you tell us a little bit about design? Obviously there's a lot of people in the indie world who appreciate great design. I think you have a very distinct perspective, and then that'll segue into a second question about potential collaborations.
Yeah, so design was obviously very important to us. We didn't want to, all of our furniture is unbranded. And what we didn't want to do is, some of the other people in this space offer other brands. And we didn't want to do that because we didn't want to just be a middleman delivering you a sofa from someone else. So we really think of ourselves as the brand. And so design was really important to us. And, you know, convenience and flexibility are the two kind of pillars that we stand on. However, obviously it has to look really good too. And so we have our in-house design team who works really hard to make sure that everything we picked, you know, looks really good, is going to stand up to rental, because certain materials just don't wear as well. And then also can be refurbished and reused. And then it has to be the right price point. So we spent, you know, when we were starting this business, we had a warehouse full of furniture where 90% of it didn't make it into the catalog because it didn't either fit one of those criterias.
Okay. And then tell us, would you be open to, without having like their name, or maybe that you would, there's a lot of interior designers who are probably watching. Would that be of interest to you to have special, like?
Sorry, I lost you there for a second.
Oh, did you? I could be my back. Is it okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Strange. Interior designers are probably watching and listening. Would you ever consider doing something like that as a one-off collection, or something kind of exclusive to the Everset?
Absolutely.
Well,
Like I said, we have our in-house design team,
right.
but we are always open to collaborating with folks in design, on the real estate side, on the furniture side. So we're always open for interesting collaborations where we can work with other people who have great ideas and highlight some of their talents and bring it to the Everset.
Great. And I'll tell them to reach out to you directly if that's
Yeah,
okay.
please. Yeah, sure.
Good, good, good. Tell us about, because I thought this was interesting, especially as you think about the environment and use. What happens after the product has kind of seen its life in the furniture world and you don't think it's appropriate to keep using it for rental? What do you do from a charitable perspective? 'Cause I think this is
Sure. Yeah, so after furniture has finished its useful life with the Everset, we have a partnership with Habitat for Humanity.
yeah,
So we will donate our furniture to Habitat for Humanity. They will sell it at one of their restores, which the sale in the restore is furniture for the community, and the proceeds from that sale go to building affordable housing. So it really goes full circle.
yep,
Our furniture stays out of a landfill, ends up in someone's home, and then the proceeds from that sale actually help build someone a home. So we're
right.
really happy and pleased with that partnership also.
Yeah. And I call that, I think that more and more the desire for people to have a social impact when it comes to business important. So calling that out to me, and I'm sure the people listening will really appreciate knowing that you're a part of, if you're, buying into this proposition, that you're also buying into something that's doing good for the world and humanity, which is great.
Absolutely.
Who, this is a question that I think you'll appreciate. And we didn't talk about this, so I'm curious
Yeah,
what you're saying, throwing you a curveball here. Do you
sure.
do baby furniture?
Um, we, yeah, so we do not have it on our in our catalog right now. However, it's in the works, and we'll be adding it shortly.
I think in light,
So
share with us about people pivoting, and what was kind of mentioned in the Wired article that you were quoted in was people are leaving New York City, and other cities, but you right now market wise are in the tri-state area, to move out to Connecticut, New Jersey, Long Island, et cetera. And so I would imagine, be it single, couple, or family, you are the perfect solve for them, and especially if you have baby furniture soon, that would be great. And
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, I mean, baby furniture obviously makes a ton of sense because
Yeah.
they're not in a crib. You're not in a crib forever. So, yeah.
That's interesting too, because it's the same way, I guess people feel about baby clothing. It just transitions so quickly, and it feels like a waste, quite honestly, if you have nowhere else to put it.
That's right.
What about market growth? Where do you kind of see yourself going next? What's it?
Yeah. No. So about 40% of the country's rental population, people who rent, are
Mhm.
in 10 to 15 cities.
Okay.
So it's not, it's pretty concentrated in that sense. So we don't have to be in every city in the country to service a large number of people. So we have our list of cities that we're interested in expanding to, and we'll be moving in that direction as we continue to grow.
Okay, good. What else was I going to ask you? Let me see if there's any questions people have, feel free to post those, and we'll make sure addresses those. Do you want to talk to us about, just as people listen to this, how you started your career? Because I think that's interesting too in this business. Like, how did you come to this idea? You mentioned it in the beginning, but how did you kind of take that leap of starting your own brand?
Yeah, I've always been entrepreneurial and trying different things.
Okay.
And so I was working real estate, multifamily in New York, overseeing a portfolio of about 2,500 units. And I left there, or while I was there, I started looking at building homes in Utah,
Okay.
knowing I was ready for a change at some point, and I started doing that. And like I said, we started selling them fully furnished, and it just became really clear to us that if people have the opportunity to move into a fully furnished home and can eliminate all of the pain points that come with buying furniture, they will do that. And when you're buying furniture from 15 different vendors, it's 15 different deliveries, it's 15
Right.
different insurance certificates. There are so many problems that come with buying furniture that we're able to eliminate in one moment. And so it just, looking back kind of at multifamily, thinking about Utah and then looking back at multifamily in New York, it made even more sense, given that people are transient and want easy, flexible solutions in their lives. And then given the world that we're living in now, we see it just accelerating over the next, 3 to 5 years, that this really will push things forward, both on the real estate side, but also kind of on the consumer side and how they want to live.
Right. No, and it sounds incredible. We have a question, if you can see it there, but it's just in regard cheap furniture, and I won't mention the brand's name, versus your furniture. What's the difference in terms of convenience? Like, what is it? And you spoke to this earlier, but if you could just kind of repeat, what are the things that you deliver as it relates to convenience and ensuring quality?
Sure. So, I mean, on the convenience side, you come to our website and it's one moment, one click, you can furnish your whole home. We have either designer curated packages. So if you want design help and you don't want to pick all the items, you can come and pick packages. We'll deliver, assemble it all in one place. With our partner properties, you don't have to deal with insurance at all. We know what their requirements are. We handle everything. You won't be involved at all. And so that's a real convenience for people. On the flexible side, obviously, it's temporary and you can cancel your subscription at any time. So if you sign up for a 12-month subscription and you want to cancel at month 6, no problem. There's a price difference, obviously, but it's ultimate flexibility in that sense. In terms of quality and what we're offering in terms of the furniture, like I said, we put a lot of time in making sure that the furniture would stand up and also look good. So my partner, Jonathan Matrani, has been in the furniture industry for 20 years. And so our vendors and our manufacturers are the same people that are manufacturing for West Elm and Article and a lot of these other large names that you would know, except it just might not have that name on it.
Right.
So the quality is really good, but it still is at a price point that can work for a subscription model.
There's another question here, given kind of what you are as a brand, who you're targeting, where do you advertise or market brand? Like, what makes sense for you? I think this is a good question as people think about their own brands. Like, what have you found success in terms of brand awareness?
Yeah, so one of the things is working with our real estate partners to tell people that this is a solution. In some ways, we're creating a market because a couple of years ago, people didn't even think that this was a real option. And we hear that even from a lot of our customers now. It's like, oh, I didn't even know you could do this until I found you. There's some older companies that have been around for a long time, but this is kind of a new take on it. So in that sense, we're creating the market. So we work with our real estate partners to let them know that this is a solution. And then we also do some of the traditional marketing, digital marketing, and through press and kind of the more traditional avenues.
Have social media and influencers done anything for you?
Yeah, a little bit. We've worked with a few few influencers, and they've been able to kind of tell their community that this is an option. Like I said, it's about educating people that this is now something you can do. And so that's been nice. And then in social media, we do that also, but this is not an impulse buy. As much as it is like you're moving, you're thinking about it, you need furniture, there's a specific date that you have to have this happen on. So we like to kind of think about those transitions and how do we target the people during that process.
Although it feels more impulse these days.
Yeah.
I feel like there isn't a moment to really think before you're like to move, which is why different time. Can you speak to if there's any interest in long-term or short-term rental? Do you work with Airbnb? Do you work with VRBO? Like, is that of interest to you? Like, say if I owned, owned a few homes and wanted to put them on Airbnb, can I rent from you? How does that work?
Yeah, so we do work with corporate housing providers, and we'll help them be a furniture solution. And that'll include everything from bedding to silverware, cookware. We can help them with all of that with our relationship. So we've done that, and yeah, if there's people who need help with that, it's something we can work with you to find a furniture solution, because the truth is it's a real logistical challenge for a lot of these smaller businesses and even the larger ones to find somewhere that's a one-stop shop where they can get all their furniture and solutions delivered and assembled.
Yeah, that's smart. Is there anything, and I encourage people, if there's any questions, to continue to post them. Gavin, is there anything we haven't covered that you might want to delve a little bit deeper into in terms of the brand or your company, or personally how you got your start? Anything that you want to touch on?
Yeah, no, just that, we think we're really helping solve a real problem, particularly now with what's going on and all the uncertainty in the world. people need flexibility and convenience, and we're really happy to be able to do that. And then partnering with the real estate community to offer this as a service or an amenity gives people some comfort and lets them have this option really easily and accessibly. So we're excited about our partnerships and kind of where the industry is going, and that people are starting to see, you know what, why am I buying furniture when I don't buy anything else in my life? I don't own my music. I don't own my car. I don't own my home. Why am I spending money on a big, heavy sofa that I'm going to have to drag around New York? So,
Right. Um,
yeah.
I'm thinking of, you talked about style. Oh, do you do, and maybe I should know this at this point, but do you do measurements? Like, how do I know that that package, because I saw all your different packages based on the room, which I think is really easy to kind of decipher on your website. But how do I know that it all fits? Obviously, you provide the measurements, but does someone also physically come and measure your house or apartment? Or
It's a good question, and we try to really call it out on the website so people don't miss it. If we're helping you stage an apartment, we'll come and measure everything to make sure everything's going to work. On the consumer side, if you need to, when you rent your furniture, we do ask that you take a look at your elevator and your apartment and make sure that the furniture will fit. We're not able to go and visit every customer before the delivery happens and measure it for them. But for the most part, coming from real estate in New York, we were pretty thoughtful about kind of the furniture that we picked, and that it would fit in New York City staircases and hallways and apartments. So we tried to make sure that we picked furniture that would work.
Okay. Someone asked for your company's name. It's the Everset, which I saw was posted on there as well. And then another question to you is, what are your typical lead times? I mean, I think that you address this. It sounds like you can pick up and do that pretty quickly. Like if I click on, I want 3 months, how quickly do I actually get that furniture?
Oftentimes we're doing it within days.
Really?
Yeah, people are coming here. They might be flying in from California, and we get an order and there's like, can you do it in 3 days? And so oftentimes we're doing it within a week. We ask for, 10 days, 2 weeks, but 99% of the time we're able to accommodate within a week. And oftentimes people are turning things around that quickly.
That's amazing. I mean,
yeah.
So people can hear that. So the lead time, so if you click, you want a living room set and you want a bedroom set, 10 days, 2 weeks is kind of standard, but you can do quicker than that. Should we put in, an SOS?
Yeah. We'll work with you to help make it work, but we asked for a little bit more, but we're able to accommodate less time.
Great. What have you found are what are, one or two of the biggest challenges with starting your own business in this space? Like, what are the things you kind of bumped up against that you might not have thought was going to be an issue, and how did you kind of solve for that?
I think right now one of the challenges we're facing is the furniture industry is, and like many industries, given what's going on in the world, there's some supply chain issues.
Right.
So we tried to get ahead of that and make sure that we were positioned well to service all of our customers for the next period of time. But that's definitely been a challenge, is working with our vendors and manufacturers and making sure that, we have the right product to be able to service them. I think as any entrepreneur will tell you, you have really good days and you have other days that are really challenging. So I think it's just being able to kind of keep your head down and look at the positive and look forward as to kind of how we're going to continue to grow this business.
That's great. And so you said, we have another question. What's the average price point for a living room for 1 year? And this
so
we can push everyone to the website for sure, but if you could just answer that kind of off the cuff, if that's okay.
Sure. So you can, if you do one of our packages, make sure you can see me there. Packages range, you could do a studio or a 1-bedroom apartment, fully the apartment, anywhere from $139, which would include, bedroom, living room, and dining room, up to $269, depending on how many items of furniture and which pieces you pick. So we have really affordable per month.
Okay.
Yeah, on a 12-month lease. It's a sliding scale, so if you're looking for a 3-month, it's more per month for the same items.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing that I thought was interesting, because I definitely think there's like a kind of like ooh factor to mattresses. Are the mattresses new?
Yes, we had the same feeling. So we, all of our mattresses are brand new, and you get to keep them. They're yours to keep. So we don't, we'll take it back. That's included. in the pricing. So if you get a mattress from us, it's we make our mattresses locally in New Jersey, and it's a
Nice.
good pocket coil real mattress. It's not just like a piece of foam. They're a good 10-inch mattress, and it's yours to keep at the end. We'll take it back if you want, but we don't reuse mattresses, so they're all new.
That's so smart. Love that. Last question. Do you coordinate shipping and install to areas outside of the tri-state area? And I know you'll have a good answer to this.
We do not. We can, depending on how far outside it is, we can try and help. But for right now, we're focused on the New York area and the tri-state area. But we'll be expanding to other cities and areas where hopefully we'll be able to service you in the future.
Okay. And then another question for you is, how do you differentiate, and you spoke to this earlier, but maybe dig in a little bit deeper in this competitive space?
Yeah. So one of the big things that we really focus on is our relationships with the real estate community and our partnerships there.
Right.
So I mentioned Stuytown is one of our larger partners, but we have a lot of other large real estate owners in New York who we work with. And it really is a mutually beneficial relationship where we're able to offer their tenants this great service and this solution for a problem that they might be facing. And obviously we get the benefits of working with the property owner and getting in front of tenants. So the real estate community has really embraced us. We've had a lot of people excited about working with us, and we're excited about working with them. So real estate is really where we focus.
Right.
We don't want to compete on, we are really well priced compared to anyone else in the space, but that's not what we're focused on as much. And then obviously design is another big piece. If someone just wants to solve their problem, convenience and flexibility, I'm sure they could, get something somewhere. But if you want it to look good, that's the other piece that we do focus on.
That's great. I think we have 3 more minutes. Are there any other questions that people have? This is great. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we didn't cover off on, Gavin, that you want to touch on. I know you also moved, right?
What's that?
I said you recently moved out of the city, so you're
I did.
Group, right? In terms of making a change and then kind of looking around you. And I think part of what you've done in changing the game is really kind of help people with that convenience. There was a recent study that was out, I think I shared it with you, in regards to as you said, real estate partners considering that's kind of like package deal, right? The idea that you could be part of that package, I think, just as a further incentive for people to want to go to a building. Because if you think about urban centers, that's competitive in and of itself. What building do you go to, even if you figure out what area of that city you want to be in? So I think you can be part of that solution for sure. You have another question about how you would define the brand style. If you can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make sure that we created an aesthetic that would appeal to a large audience, because we don't know who's coming to our site and what their personal preferences are. So it's really clean, modern. I would say it's mid-century modern, and with some Scandinavian influence.
Yes.
But overall, it's neutral tones that kind of can work in lots of different ways. So if you want industrial, you can make it work. If you want mid-century modern, this could work for you also. If you want really more of a modern look, we kind of do all of it. It's just a matter of how you put together the pieces.
Okay. No, that's great. That's super helpful. So just as a reminder to everyone who's listening, co-founder and CEO of Everset. And so you can certainly reach out to him directly or check out his website, theeverset.com. And we want to thank Gavin for your time. This was awesome. And hope you have a great weekend, and everyone else who's tuning in.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Good seeing you.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.
Hi everyone. Hopefully everybody can hear me. You would think with the number of times I've done this, I'd be good at this. And we have Daniel Ryan. Dan. Yes, it worked.
Hello.
Excellent. Can you see me?
I can see you loud and clear and hear you.
I mean, Dan, I've done this so many times, and even then I always get nervous when I have to log on because invariably something doesn't go as planned. Anyway, welcome. Good to see your face.
You too.
Before we get into this, just a couple of things. Welcome everybody who's joining us today. So happy to have you. So happy to be back on ILC's channel. A couple of things before we start, a few updates. So coming up next, we have ILC board member Elizabeth Keating is going to go live with Gavin Steinberg. He's the co-founder and CEO of the Everest. That is on Friday at 12:30. Stay tuned. We've got plenty more exciting and challenging conversations coming ahead on Instagram Live. So looking forward to having you join us. Check out our Instagram and LinkedIn giveaways. We'll send you ILC keychains and t-shirts if you tag your friends in our post and tell them to follow us. So see the posts on our profiles for more details. And finally, please do consider donating to ILC. We rely heavily on our live events as our main source of revenue. So we'd appreciate any donations to keep us going through this challenging time. You can donate at our website on ilcongress.com. So ilcongress.com, the letters. So with that, let's get into this. So a couple of things. With me is Dan Ryan today, and I am so happy to be here. I've been lucky enough to know Dan for over 15 years. We were children when we met. I know this. And, you know, I've been able to know him as a business partner, as a support to the hospitality industry. He is a friend. He is a father. He's so many things. And I think my favorite thing about Dan is that no matter what he does in life, his mission, his personal objective is to always make someone else's journey shorter. So, you know, literally like there are days I'll text him randomly, hey, I'm thinking this, what do you think about this? And he'll be like, well, you need to talk to so-and-so, and then there'll be a connection. So that is Dan's magic sort of charm that, you know, he's always here to connect dots. And every conversation with him is like a brainstorm. So obviously it was no surprise to anyone that when COVID kind of made its felt, the wheels started to turn for him.